Hello and welcome. In an earlier episode, we had understood how we can lower our income tax even if we have no investments. If you haven't watched it yet, you may consider watching it now, the link in the top right corner. Okay, let's now get back to the topic. What if you already have some investments? Say you have invested in the stock market and you have even earned returns on such investments. Are such returns taxable? Are there any exemptions? Is there a way to save tax on these stock market transactions? Let's find out. First, let me summarize things for you. We'll understand how these investments are dealt with in the Income Tax Act in India. Then, we'll learn when these are exempt and when these are taxable. And in the end, I'll give you some tax planning tips which I'm sure would help you in further saving of your income tax. So, let's begin. The profits, rather gains that you make out of sale of shares in the stock market, are taxed under the head capital gains as per Income Tax Act. And the shares that you buy can either be a long-term capital asset or a short-term capital asset. Let's first see what is the difference between the two. Here, the nature of asset that we are talking about is shares listed on any recognized stock exchange in India. Say Bombay Stock Exchange, National Stock Exchange, etc. The criterion to decide whether the shares are long-term capital assets or short-term capital assets would be the holding period. Holding period is the number of days for which you hold the shares with you. In other words, it will start from date of purchase and it will end on the day preceding the date of sale. So if the holding period is more than 12 months, then such shares would be regarded as long-term capital assets, and any gain that you make out of sale of long-term capital assets would be regarded as long-term capital gains. If the holding period is less than or equal to 12 months, then such shares are treated as short-term capital assets, and gains out of sale of short-term capital assets would be treated as short-term capital gains. Intraday transactions are not covered in this video. These transactions are taxable separately as business income. Similarly, I have not covered dividend income in this video. Dividend incomes are taxed separately as other income. Now let us see when capital gains are taxable and when they are exempt. First, let us see when they are exempt. LTCG, that is long-term capital gain, less than or equal to 1 lakh in a year is exempt. Let's say you buy and hold the shares for more than 12 months and you make a gain of say 50,000 rupees. Entire 50,000 would be exempt. When taxable at 10%. If LTCG, long-term capital gain, is more than 1 lakh in a year, then excess over 1 lakh would be taxable at 10%. Let's say instead of 50,000 you make 2 lakhs as long-term capital gain. So on the first 1 lakh there will not be any tax. On the balance 1 lakh, 10% tax would be applicable. When taxable at 15%. In case of STCG, that is short-term capital gain, gains would be taxable at 15%. That is, if you don't hold the shares for more than 12 months and you sell it before that, then gains that you make out of it would be short-term capital gains, and the same would be taxable at 15%. Let us now see how to compute the gain. Let's say you have shares in two companies, A Limited, which is BSE listed, and B Limited, which is NSE listed. You have bought the shares in A Limited on 1st November 2020. Number of shares 100. Buy value 2000 per share. So cost of purchase is 2 lakhs, that is number of shares multiplied by the buy value. Let's assume you have sold the shares on 10th November 2021. Sell value is 4500 per share. So sale consideration is 4,50,000. Number of shares multiplied by sell value. You have purchased shares of B Limited on 1st April 2021. Number of shares bought is 50. Buy value is 1500 per share. Cost of purchase is 75,000. For the sake of simplicity, let's assume the date of sale is 10th November 2021 in this case too. Sell value is 3,000 per share. Sale consideration is 1,50,000. Let us now compute capital gain for these transactions. Shares in A Limited is purchased on 1st November 2020. It is sold on 10th November 2021. So you have held these shares for more than 12 months. Therefore, shares in A Limited would be a long-term capital asset for you, and the gain that you make out of sale of shares of A Limited would be a long-term capital gain. Let us compute the long-term capital gain. Here the sale consideration is 4,50,000. Cost of purchase is 2 lakhs. So let's reduce that from 4,50,000. So the capital gain is 2,50,000. Shares in B Limited are purchased on 1st April 2021 and it is sold on 10th November 2021. So it has been sold before 12 months. Therefore, shares in B Limited would be long-term capital assets and the gain that is made out of sale of shares in B Limited would be short-term capital gains. So here sale consideration is 1,50,000. Cost of purchase is 75,000. So therefore capital gain is 75,000. In addition to cost of purchase, you may also reduce expenses on transfer like brokerage charges to arrive at the capital gain. Let us now compute the taxable income and the tax payable. Capital gain we have just calculated. Long-term capital gain is 2,50,000 and 75,000 is the short-term capital gain. I have earlier told you that in case of long-term capital gain, we get an exemption up to 1 lakh rupees. So let's reduce that. So taxable long-term capital gain would be 1,50,000. The exemption of 1 lakh that we get is only for long-term capital gains. So this exemption will not be applicable in case of short-term capital gain. So therefore taxable short-term capital gain would be 75,000. Let's now calculate the taxable income. Let's say you have a salary income of 10 lakhs. You have other income, say interest on FD is 50,000. Then you have capital gain of 2,25,000, the sum of short-term and long-term capital gain. So gross total income is 12,75,000. Let's say you have deduction under section 80C. Say it is PF, PPF, tuition fee or any other allowable deduction. Let's assume it is 1,50,000. Do note that this deduction under 80C can be adjusted only against salary or other income. In other words, if you had only capital gains, then this deduction under 80C was not available. Here we have salary and other income, so we can avail this deduction under section 80C. So taxable income would be 11,25,000. Let's now see what is the tax payable. On long-term capital gain at 10%, that is 10% of 1,50,000, tax payable would be 15,000. On short-term capital gain of 75,000 at 15%, that is 11,250. And on balance at slab rates, that is the first 2.5 lakhs no tax, more than 2.5 lakhs up to 5 lakhs at 5%, and for the remaining 4 lakhs at 20%. So the total comes to 92,500. Tax payable including health and education cess at 4% would be 1,23,500. If you hold shares for more than 12 months, then such shares would be treated as long-term capital assets, and if you have long-term capital gain, then you can get exemption up to 1 lakh rupees. And anything more than 1 lakh would be taxable at 10%. But if you sell the shares within 12 months, then such shares would be regarded as short-term capital assets and gains that you make out of it would be a short-term capital gain which is taxed at a higher rate of 15%. If you hold shares for more than 12 months, then either you pay no tax or you pay tax at lower rates. If you buy and sell shares within the stock exchange, then you would be paying securities transaction tax. So this exemption and special rates are applicable only when you pay securities transaction tax. If you transact outside the stock exchange, then you will not be paying securities transaction tax, in which case you will not be able to avail this exemption and special rate benefits. So it is better to avoid transactions outside stock exchange to avail this exemption and special rate benefits. We have understood that in case of long-term capital gain, there is no tax up to first 1 lakh rupees. It would be beneficial for you if you can split the transaction between financial years. Let's say you have shares in your Demat account and you would like to sell them. So you can sell a part of it in the month of March and part of it in the beginning of April, so that you split the transaction between 2 financial years. In that case, you get exemption of 1 lakh for transactions during March, and you also get exemption for transactions that you carry out in April. So following a staggered exit strategy wherever possible can help reduce taxes. What if you have higher gains, say 20-30 lakh rupees? Then is there any other exemption benefit? You can buy a house and avail exemption under section 54F. Let me tell you quickly what this section 54F is all about. If you sell any long-term capital asset other than land or building, and if you buy a house within the time limit specified and subject to certain conditions specified, you will be able to avail exemption of capital gain. You may consider this option if it suits you. We had earlier understood that long-term capital gains up to 1 lakh is exempt and anything more than that would be taxed at 10%. We had also understood short-term capital gains are taxed at 15%. What if you make loss instead of gain? If you have capital losses, then you can carry forward the same for next 8 years and adjust such losses from subsequent gains that you make. But this adjustment can be done only when you file your income tax return within the due date. In other words, if you don't file your income tax return within the due date, then you will not be able to carry forward your losses. So it is always recommended that you file your income tax return within due date so that you don't miss out on any benefits. For this year, due date is 31st December 2021 or 15th February 2022 for audit assessees. In this video, I've tried to explain about capital gains on sale of shares in a simple language. I guess the tax planning tips might have interested you. If you enjoyed this episode, you may like and share the video. Subscribe to my channel for more videos. Thank you for watching.